Well, here goes.
Oh, I love this for us. Well, here we go. Thank you. Well, I guess we'll just start it off on the right foot because it's the second Thursday of October. And we tried to do this last week because I am in the beautiful island of Hawaii. And unfortunately, I am not able to be in person with my friends. But we do have the beautiful Rubit.Ramos back with us this week. And we're so happy. And Mr. Gordon.Chavez, a little handsome bugger, you know what I mean. But we kind of necessarily haven't segued into indexed universal life insurance on our previous podcasts, you know, what it means, how to utilize it, all of the details that are, come with an IUL as we acronym it, as you would say. We've touched base a little bit on term insurance, whole life insurance, living benefits, but we're IUL strategists, you know what I'm saying? So we better dive deep into this category as I didn't know about IULs. I'm sure that we've mentioned that y'all didn't know about them, and we just kind of want to shed some light on this very beneficial product that everybody can utilize at any age as long as you have a social security number. So I guess
good point.
I guess based on the fact that we are speaking about indexed universal life, and it is an acronym, IUL. Let's see. The IUL was introduced in 97, if I'm not mistaken. Can y'all clarify that for me? I'm pretty sure it was 97. It could have been 93. I was born in 89. Who knows? You know what I mean? But it's been around for quite some time. And a lot of people don't seem to know about these products. And it's like, based on the fact that we're utilizing, not only do we get the death benefit protection, which everybody seems to think that that's what life insurance is only for, but you get an uninterrupted cash accumulation, you get tax-free loans there, and a tax-free death benefit, also supplemental retirement income. There's so many things attached to these products, but why do you guys think like nobody knows about them? Why are they not advertised more? Like, why is it not more of like a spoken thing that when, because everybody's like, IULs are a scam and you're just taking my money and you're just working for a commission. But honestly, like it's like what every rich person utilizes to get more wealthy. So like, why is it such like a foreign subject? I just don't understand.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think the first thing that comes to my mind is that if you utilize these index universal life policies as a financial vehicle, it's to some extent a little advanced, right? And so if it's advanced, then therefore it's not something that the knowledge is readily available with the general public, right? It's one of those things where you don't learn about it unless you really do some deep diving on just finance and money in general and really educate yourself. And then you start to learn, because it's a little more technical, a little more advanced. Unless if you use life insurance just for the death benefit, then that's one thing, right? But if you're using the cash value account, for its tax benefits and for its, its earning potential along with the safety, it's a little more advanced for your average person, I think.
Right. And like I said before, like based on the fact that people are, don't want to sound or ask quote unquote stupid questions, and when you really dig deep into these policies and how they perform and the things that you're able to do with them, it can be very overwhelming. And a lot, and there's so many aspects connected to it all that I think it makes it hard for some people to understand and grasp all the concepts together, which is kind of why they may like shy away from them. So, but based on the fact that it is IUL, let's start with what that stands for. So the I, obviously we know, is index, meaning that the money that's put into the account is tied to a market index, such as like the S&P 500. So when those indexes perform, you know, you're obviously going to gain interest on the premiums that you're putting into these policies. And I don't know what like because I know a lot of companies have bonuses. I think the highest bonus with a company that we have is like 140%. Like adding 140% already on top of the interest that you're earning, like the bank's only giving you what, 0.0000000. How many zeros do I have to add? But you know what I mean? But to earn upwards of some teen percentage and multiply that by 140%, like sometimes we see figures of what, like 28% returns in some years. Like that's crazy to me, to know that money could be compounding at 28% and then do 15%. And just knowing that I'm not, regardless of what I've earned, I'm not losing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we have that protection of the 0% floor with an IUL. So like that's unheard of. You know what I mean? I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's just, you know, it's so I always, and I talk about this all the time, right? How the two worlds are colliding, right? They're fighting, or whatever you want to call it, beefing. You got the financial, or not the financial, sorry, the stock market, right? And then you have the life insurance.
Right.
And so if everybody were to start putting their money into life insurance policies, utilizing its, you know, its tax benefits, its earning potential, all the benefits that go along with it, then that, I mean, if there was a huge shift of people moving how they strategize their money, I guess it could potentially hurt the stock market, and vice versa, right? If everybody was leaving life insurance and going straight to the market, same thing. But really, neither of them can exist without the other, really.
Right.
You know, because that financial institutions are putting their money into life insurance policies, and life insurance is utilizing the market to give those gains that you just talked about.
Like some of the, I mean, we can name a handful. Like we've got the Bloomberg, we've got PIMCO, we've got S&P 500, we've got, you know, there's so many different indexes to be utilized for your indexing strategy. But at the same time, almost all of these companies have increased their fixed interest rate to above 5% in the last year. So you're guaranteed about 5 to almost 6% no matter what. And that's just because you chose a fixed interest account. So if you're willing to take a risk and maybe potentially, you know, I'm not going to say that in the next, I'm no stock market guru or whatever, but we all are pretty sure that the market's going to crash. But if I could guarantee myself at least like 5.25 to 6% regardless, I would take that. At least I'm earning something. And then, you know, maybe let's say the next year I participate in the indexing strategy and I gain upwards of, you know, that 15% with a bonus or whatever it may be. I would be stoked. You know what I mean? Like, I know that my money is earning interest no matter what. So,
yeah.
See, it sounds like it's too good to be true, but
yeah. Well, I mean, the first time I learned about it, that's what I thought. I was like, yeah, I don't know about this stuff.
Now you're like, no way. This guy he's fibbing, right? Let's move on to, we did index, let's do universal. So life happens, right? life happens. And as much as I hate to say it, I've seen a lot of things where people like, it's like, why do people think of life insurance as another bill kind of thing? But I think that the universal part of an IUL is what makes it so special, is because you can change. I mean, obviously, if cash accumulation is your goal, you're going to want the minimum death benefit for the maximum amount of cash accumulation. But your premiums are so flexible. Like, you have like a literal minimum that, I mean, granted, your account isn't gaining any interest and you're just keeping the policy open at that point. But, you know, when it comes to funding, obviously, we recommend what 10 times our age is what we recommend, because we want, if that's the goal, cash accumulation, like, we don't want all of the premium just going to the cost and fees of the policy. But the fact that you can increase or decrease, like, when, you know, life happens. And sometimes, you know, based on the fact that I'm about to be 35, sometimes I can't afford $400 a month. You know what I'm saying? But if I needed to change a payment or whatever it may be, just the flexibility, if I had to do half at this point of the month, or, you know, overfund it, the option to overfund if I got like a lump sum of money, or if I had to decrease it, just the way that we're allowed to operate. And you know, it's like, and they're so understanding. Like, the flexibility is incredible. And, you know, it's like, oh, I can't pay my cable bill, so they're gonna turn off my TV. But you know, because you can also like not make a payment and they're not going to cancel your policy. You just have to communicate, and it's so simple. You know what I mean? So, like, what? Like, I just don't understand how, like, another bill with the flexibility that we have. I mean, we have the ability to overfund, underfund, maximum fund, like all of that stuff. Like, you know what I mean? And it's very lenient, and the companies are just like so understanding that life happens. I mean, we talked about living benefits. Life happens. People get sick. These things happen. So, you know, they also understand that sometimes people are in between a rock and a hard place. And like,
super flexible, super versatile. We got to get Rubit to chime in here. Rubit, we want to hear what you got to say.
Rubit.
I'm listening.
I'm listening, she said.
No, I mean, because it's true, all this information, and we are diving into what it really means, the index, the universal, and what an IUL is, and how many people don't know, or they're not really aware of how flexible your premiums can be with an IUL. It is kind of challenging for those who don't really understand it and think that, like, oh, this is a lot of money that I'm paying, or is this really gonna be helpful, or how do I make these payments? Am I really in the right budget to put in this amount of money for my policy to grow the way that I want it to grow?
Right. But that's like the other thing, you know, that we've mentioned before is, you know, I mean, everybody needs life insurance. Everybody should have life insurance no matter what. But even if, you know, cash accumulation isn't your goal, and let's say you can't afford to put in that 10 times your age, a term policy is still provides the same coverage with the same living benefits, but it's just more cost effective at the time. But then when you
Mhm.
convert, so then like if you start with a term policy and then convert it to like an IUL or a permanent policy, you know, your rate class, as long as you do it before it's expired, your rate class is the same. You don't have to go through underwriting again. And you're, you know, you get the same rating as you did, let's say 10 years ago today.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, it's just, I just feel like everybody feel like based on an IUL, because of the way that we know people to use it, I feel like more people need to understand that it's better to kind of start them earlier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
as much as young people don't think that they need life insurance, if they knew that they could use it more so as like an investment tool to buy assets and invest in businesses or whatever it may be, then I think that more people would be more excited to know that they're earning interest, and not necessarily feeling as though they're burdened by putting the amount of premium that they have to put in order to accumulate that cash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love that you said that about eventually getting a term and then switching to a permanent. I feel like that should be the goal for everybody. If
Right.
you were to start off with a term policy, your goal should also be to eventually um get 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 better with your finances and be able to see how I'm or when I'm actually going to start getting my term policy
Right.
into an actual permanent
Right. And
insurance
that's kind
policy.
of a
Yeah.
thing too, is I think that when you incorporate, and we, you know, it's not like we don't provide the service anymore, but we do the financial strategy. But once you really see like kind of what you're budgeting, like where your money is going, you kind of start prioritizing things a little bit differently. Um and when, you know, when it's on paper and you're like, I spent how much money at this place or on this, or, you know, it's easy for people to spend $150 on a pair of Jordans or whatever,
Hmm.
but $30 for life insurance is just, oh my God, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, but you have children, you have a wife, and you won't spend $30, but you'll buy new shoes every week. It makes no sense. I don't get it. You
And
know what?
it comes back to what you said though. It comes back to them saying like it's a waste of money. It's another bill to
And
add
I'm
on.
like, wait,
Mhm.
but so
Their
are the
mentality,
J's
right?
that you're rocking right now. You know what I'm saying? That them fresh crease Dickies you're wearing, those were
Mhm.
$30 a piece, and you got 3 pairs. That's $90. You could have only got two and didn't just spent the other 30 on life insurance. I don't get it, but whatever.
Mhm.
Who am I to judge, right? Um, but I mean, it's true. I'm like, bro, like it makes no sense. Like really, like, or you know, like people that smoke and they spend $10 on a pack of cigarettes every day, like, or people that like drink every day or whatever it may be. Like, it's like, bro, that 30 pack was $20 and you buy a 30 pack like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
The math isn't mathing, if you ask me, but okay.
Yeah.
It's a different type of math. Well, you know
Yeah.
what? One of the things that Carlo always says is cost is an issue in the absence of value. And
Oh,
so it as life insurance agents, you know, in general and for us as well, um the challenge of cost of life insurance, first of all, it needs to be structured right so we can keep the cost as far down as possible, right? We want to make sure it fits the goals of the client. But secondly, just being able to, or for a client to be able to understand and justify an extra 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, whatever it is a month for this thing, this product, it's our job to explain it correctly and educate and really try to get the right information to our clients, try to make sure that they understand everything fully. And it's a lot to take in, especially for people that have never heard of it before. If we're working with a brand new client and we're trying to explain this new concept that they've never heard of before, then it's a lot of work. It might take a couple different, sittings or phone calls or whatever the case to get these concepts across, and for them to truly understand how it's going to benefit them and take care of their families. So it's
Yeah,
our
find
job.
the
I
find the value in it.
I
Exactly.
encourage, I think I encourage my clients more, like, it's like, I'm like, if we need to do it again, like, go over anything again, by all means. Like, I don't want you to do anything that you're not comfortable with. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure that this is fully understood until, you're comfortable with paying this premium. I want you to know how it's going to perform, and I don't want to do anything until we've got it like locked in your brain, because it is a lot. And there's there's so many of us, especially now with social media and TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff, and everybody's spreading different information, so I think a big thing is that when it comes to like somebody looking for a product like this, they need to know the questions that they need to be asking. So, which is why, I've posted about that before, but when you're new to it, you don't know. You're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to know. Like, I'm relying on you and trust you, but then there's so many instances where people are taking advantage of people because they don't know how these things are supposed to perform, and it actually breaks my heart to hear that people are like stealing money from people just because they want to feed their family. I'm like, no, you're supposed to be helping these people, not stealing from them. Like, it's really sad, which is why we're here.
Right, exactly.
I feel like a super
super Dani.
Super Dani.
Super Dani. Yeah. So maybe we can explain what that means. Like, how can an IUL be improperly structured to benefit the agent versus benefiting the client?
Right. Well, let's go to the last part. I do have some other things, but we can dive into that also. I don't necessarily know if you want to like wait until we have like some illustrations to show with us to do that. Maybe we could do that next time, just so that we can like compare and contrast kind of thing.
Okay, perfect. Then maybe we can just tell people to post below if they have questions on any of the stuff that we're talking about.
Right.
Get into more of the specifics. We'll
definitely get into a lot of things on here for sure.
Yeah, right. So this is a 24-hour podcast. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. We don't sleep. No, I'm just kidding. Zombies. I feel like Michael Jackson. Thriller. It is almost Halloween, right?
It's almost Halloween. We're getting there.
We are. So we went through index, so obviously life insurance. You're with an IUL, you are buying a product. Obviously, your death benefit is the product that you're purchasing. If cash accumulation, as I said, is your goal, then you want the least amount of death benefit for the maximum amount of cash value. However, I have recently dealt with some clients who wanted a level death benefit because they wanted a specific amount regardless. So like, based on the fact that the death benefit with an IUL is increasing to level, but then starts decreasing after you start taking their retirement income, they were like, I don't care about retirement income. I don't care about cash accumulation. I don't care about loans. I want the specific amount of money because they wanted mortgage protection. You know what I mean? And based on the fact that you can utilize this for mortgage protection also, like, what? How?
What does that mean?
Like, it's like, so you're a breadwinner, God forbid something were to happen to them. You can literally, they're literally only thinking about paying their house off. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
just to have that sense of security and knowing that, you know, God forbid the breadwinner is gone, they can still take care of their house, their children, whatever it may be. Because they like just built a house. So like they built a house above the garage, but there's another house. So there's two houses, which makes this property worth like $3 million. And I'm
Wow.
like, sure. But you know what I mean? So there were two policies open on one person, one for 250,000, one for 300,000, and that's just for mortgage. But
Mm.
you know what I mean? That's God forbid if anything were to happen to his mother or anything were to happen to him, the houses are taken care of. That's a, you know, they still have the property locked in. So
Nice.
the fact that you can utilize these, I mean, we could go into estate planning, trusts, all of that different stuff, you know, key person. There's so many things with business ownership, mortgages, family things. There's so many things that can be touched base on with how you can utilize life insurance to your advantage. I mean, granted, yes, you are buying a product. However, the way that you can utilize it also to invest in other things is enormous and kind of like mind-boggling. And there's somebody cutting their grass.
I can't hear
So I
anything.
might have to move.
Oh, wow.
They're over there.
Why don't you tell people where you're broadcasting live from today?
Oh, from the backyard in
From-
Maui.
Oh, watch out.
That's where we are. Yo, that's why it's all sunny and green and there's somebody mowing their lawn. And I think they're weed whacking actually, but who knows? But yeah, so we're in Maui. We just got here, what, 2 days ago? And I'm loving every minute of it. I lived here for 10 years. I come back as often as possible, and it feels good to be home. We'll say that for sure.
Hmm. And not sure if she's coming back either. No, I'm kidding.
Don't tell my mother.
Right. Is she watching? Is she watching right now?
Maybe. Oh boy. All right. So let me actually, I'm gonna pause for a second and go where it's not so loud because the dogs are going crazy and the weed whacker is too. So give me 1 second.
All right.
Intermission.
Intermission. Go get some popcorn. So, to avoid any dead air, Ruby, you have a presentation prepared to share with us on. No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, what?
Huh?
Oh my gosh.
So, in
yeah.
case anybody has just logged on, this is the We Wish You Wealth podcast. We were finally able to go live on YouTube. We are today talking about index. I know it's so exciting, huh?
Yeah.
Index universal life insurance policies, explaining what they are, breaking down the abbreviation or the acronym IUL. I for index, we already talked about that. U for universal, we talked a little bit about the universal, the flexibility, and obviously we're going to get into life and what the life insurance, we've already started that. We have Rubit.Ramos live from Oceanside, California. We have Dani Sommer live from Hawaii right now. She's repositioning herself so she doesn't get run over by the lawnmower. And then we have me, Gordon.Chavez, also from Oceanside. But I don't know if you wanted to share anything on the I or the U as far as IULs, like the I for index or the U for universal, while we wait for Dani.
I feel like everything she explained was pretty good. It is just really about the flexibility that these policies have and how we are really capable of structuring it based off your goals and needs. It's
Mhm.
not just something that we do and then we offer and then this is what you get. Like it's really tell me about you, tell me about your goals, tell me how you see yourself within the next 5 to 10 years. Um, what is your main focus? What are your main concerns? And really just going and making something unique specifically for you and for your family. And I
Mhm.
feel like that with an IUL is just it's just amazing in itself
Mhm.
to do that.
Yeah, that's huge. The versatility and how you can customize them. And Danny already touched on, the ability to, if you're on a budget, because we help people from various different
Mhm.
age ranges, and some of the people that we help are a little younger, and maybe they're just getting started out in life, and maybe they're on a tight budget, and so maybe we can start with a term policy, and then some of the term policies that we offer, we try to promote the convertibility, meaning you can convert it to a permanent policy, or you can convert it to an IUL and still reap the benefits of the index universal life policies. And so I think that's a great point to mention, that you can customize it. And it really is about the client's needs,
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
we're commission based, and depending on how we structure these, that'll determine how much commission we get, right? And so if you're working with
Mhm.
somebody that is not able to customize it to your needs, as you just said, Ruby, then potentially it could be more of a benefit to them than it is to the client. And so there's so much that you can do with these days.
Yeah.
Great point. And it looks like Danny's back, maybe.
I'm trying so hard, but the freaking weed whacker won't leave me alone. Oh my gosh. I
Well,
hope it's not like overbearing because there's not enough light inside the house. And now I've got to deal with this. I'm like, what is happening? I wish I knew the schedule, but I don't.
no,
I'll, I'll
I can't hear the weed whacker, so you're
no.
good.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
the
Good
sounds
to
come
know.
out fine.
Good to know. Okay, so I kind of wanted to touch base on, I think we mentioned that for premiums we recommend it being 10 times somebody's age. So like premiums, cost and fees is based on age, gender, and health. So it's premium, I forget the equation. Premium minus cost and fees plus interest goes to the accumulation value. Am I correct on that?
Premium minus costs and fees plus interest earned. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
that goes to accumulation. And I have tax codes because
Taxes.
life insurance is all tax free, which is weird.
If done correctly.
Yeah.
Do I wait? What?
If done properly.
If done properly, yeah. So obviously we don't want a max policy because if you pay a penny over, then you're going to pay taxes on your accumulation. Am I right about that?
Yeah, these policies are, because of all the tax benefits, they're highly regulated by the IRS. And so
Right.
if
We
they are
have,
structured incorrectly, they can become a taxable event, and you do not want that to happen.
all right. So I have 101A is your cash accumulation. The accumulation is tax free. 72E is the cash value is tax free. And then 7702 is you have access to your money tax free. And then your death benefit is also tax free.
That's a
So
lot of tax frees you just said.
I know. Well, it's regulated by the government. Like what? They like literally like these things are magical, because like it's like, well, because people pay capital gains on their stocks if they sell them, or there's everybody Uncle Sam is not my uncle, okay? I do not like giving him my money.
You're not related?
No, I don't even. I only have one friend named Sam, and we don't live in conference together. Okay, we don't. I don't pay him my taxes. I don't like. I do
He
not
might
like.
come calling. He might be like, "Hey, I'm your Uncle Sam."
No, he could be my friend Sam, and he could stay my friend. Okay, I don't need him to be my uncle at any point in time whatsoever.
Theo Sam.
So we have, so like when you look at an illustration, you have your accumulation column, which the accumulation is your uninterrupted compound interest that you're earning, right? I guess how do they make the cash accumulation of these policies go uninterrupted? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how did they come up with that to even be a thing?
Well, they're smart. They're smarter than I am. That's for sure.
They're smarter than Uncle Sam. No, I'm just.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I'm guessing at some point, somebody who really understood money was like, how can I put money into this account, let it grow and earn interest every year, and still be able to access it without stopping the growth? And you can't really do that in anything else. I mean, so I've done a little bit of research, and if you have a brokerage account, like a Merrill Lynch or a Charles Schwab or one of those accounts, and you have money in there, and you're buying and selling and you're investing, and you got all these mutual funds and all these different investment types within this account, right? And say total, if you add it all up and you total it out and say somebody has $500,000 in one of these accounts through a mix of everything, IRAs and mutual funds and stocks and all of that. Some of these companies will allow you to borrow against that, similar to how an IUL works. And so what they'll do is they'll say, like Charles Schwab will say, okay, you have $500,000 in assets within this account that we have in our bank, right, or whatever, in our institution. And what we'll do is knowing that you have all that money there, we will loan you, say 100,000, right? And you can do whatever you want with that. And so that's similar to how an IUL loan works, right? They loan you the institution's money versus pulling it out of your account. That way your account continues to earn interest. And now you have another lump sum of money that you can play with, you can invest, you can do whatever you want with it. But I think the main difference between an IUL loan and a brokerage loan, brokerage-backed loan, I don't know what they're called, would be the interest rate, right? As you guys know, depending on what company we're using, we can get our clients a loan for like 3%, 2%, 1%. Depending on how long they've had their IUL, sometimes it can even be a 0% loan. And so that is the main difference. These brokerage-backed loans, I want to say, are traditional interest rates. And right now they're probably like 8-9% or something like that. So if you're going to borrow against your own assets at an 8 or 9% interest rate, you better be able to earn at least 8 or 9% in whatever you're going to use that money on, or else you're falling behind at that point. You're not even breaking even. You're not even making enough to cover the cost of that loan. So there are no other vehicles that do that the way the IULs do it, as far as the low interest rates that I know.
And also with an IUL, you have the option to do a fixed loan or an index loan. So you also, based on your loan percentage, have the potential ability to learn positive arbitrage, which is a whole nother topic that we can discuss. But to break it down like pretty simply, let's say that your loan is like 3%, but your market index performs at 10%, you're still guaranteed a 7% rate of return, even if you took a loan. So, you know what I mean? The bank isn't going to offer you that. And the interest rates at the bank for loans are so much higher. Like the fact that we can offer loan rates for, 0.91% or whatever, when the bank is like charging you upwards of, it's like you said, 7, 8, sometimes 12, depending what it's for or more. Like it seems like a no-brainer, because if you're utilizing a policy appropriately to invest in other assets, all you're going to do is just be putting that money back into the policy anyway to have it earn more interest. So, I mean, did I just blow my own mind? I think I did. I sound smart. I might look a little not so smart, but I sound smart with the things that are coming out of my mouth. We're just gonna run with it for today. How about that?
You definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, we're trying. I mean, a girl can dream, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. So we talked about tax-free death benefit, obviously, which is, God forbid anything were to happen to anybody, their beneficiaries get a whole lot of money to not have to worry about GovFundMes, as we spoke before about with living benefits episode, car washes, barbecues, tamales, all of that. You know what I mean? We touched base on all of the things that people are not prepared for. And God forbid, like I said, anything were to happen to a family member, at least that in the time of grief and emotional, technically, I guess you would call it emotional instability, instability. Yeah, that's the word. That's not another thing that you have to worry about. And the peace of mind and the sense of security, and whether it's a convertible term policy or a permanent policy, that at that time when you need something out of the ordinary, unexpectedly, it's there for you. And you know what I mean?
Protection.
Yeah. So, I mean, not like I'm wishing death upon anyone. I mean, it is spooky season, as they call it, but I am no witch and I don't do witchcraft. I promise. Lord help me. So I guess the next subject would be, because we typically do our illustrations up to age like 120, I believe. So index universal life insurance, and I hate to say it because it drives me nuts when I go to Walmart or wherever it may be and I see that cute little old lady working the register or door greeting or whatever it may be, because she had to come out of retirement because her 401k or her pension taxed her, excuse my French, ass, and she can't afford to live anymore. You know what I mean? She ran out of retirement money because she wasn't prepared. So Index Universal Life offers lifetime retirement income. Like you're guaranteed, and you can take it monthly, semi-annually, annually, or biannually, I think. If I'm like every 6 months in between there. But you're guaranteed that until the day that you die. I mean, granted, your death benefit's decreasing as you're taking your lifetime income, but I mean, funerals are what? Like maybe, I mean, California, we're expensive. Did you know that San Diego, by the way, was just named the most expensive city in the nation?
To live in?
I'm moving. Like more than San Francisco, more than New York, more than Hawaii, anywhere. San Diego is the most expensive. So like,
But you were talking about death benefits. I thought you were going to say it was the most expensive place to die in.
oh no.
Probably.
So
I
like,
know, me too.
I'm
I
not,
was like, here we
no.
go.
So like, one, I'll never be able to retire. Two, I'm gonna have to go be a door greeter at Walmart. And three, if I don't have lifetime income from an IUL, I'm just gonna dig a hole right here and climb it.
You'll be in paradise.
Right? At least the dirt's warm.
The dirt's warm.
But yeah, so like it literally offers you lifetime retirement income, and you can choose to take it annually however you want. You can get monthly payments, you can get a whole lump sum every year, but you still have a death benefit. I mean, I don't necessarily think that anybody who knows me needs $200,000 or whatever, but if that's what's in the account, then by all, I'm like, hey, sorry I didn't tell you before, but go on vacation. You know what I mean? Like, lay me to rest and have a good time, because funerals cost like what, up like maximum like 30 grand, I think, depending on how you want to be buried and or cremated or whatever it may be. But other than that, like, who needs an extra $70,000?
Yeah,
I don't
For
I
death.
it
I
depends
would be afraid.
what kind of debt they're leaving behind.
Be afraid for anybody that gets my death benefit. I can only imagine what they'd be doing. I'm just gonna say that openly and honestly. But
Party,
you know what I
party,
mean?
party.
But like, that's a lot. And
Yeah, well, hopefully we don't leave that much debt behind. Hopefully we don't have a whole
right.
lot of debt. Hopefully, if we live a nice long life, hopefully the house is paid off, and there's a lot of hopefullys, right? A lot of hopefullys, but yeah,
But
I mean,
time, like I said, like we've mentioned before, the living benefits, because you never know what's gonna happen, are very important. And just to have that, like I said, that peace of mind, that sense of security, and knowing that you can walk outside and get hit by a city bus, but still take care of your medical bills, because honestly, knock on wood, I do know somebody that has been hit by a city bus, and
wow.
yeah. You know,
Wow.
so those
Maybe not.
expenses were not
on wood.
expected, and it had to come out of their pockets, you know what I mean? And it put them in a hole. But knowing that you have the ability to access this, even for $20 a month, you know what I mean, it's to me, it seems foolish to not be covered.
Yeah.
Especially
And-
with all of the benefits that you get.
Yeah, and then like Rubit said earlier, you can customize these to mix some of the term and some of the permanent, and even get multiple policies, where you make sure you have enough coverage, based on your goals, based on your expenses. And then if you have a client that doesn't really know how much they need, you can always, do the dime method, which is again, that'll be on another episode, right? But yeah. There's ways to determine how much coverage people need, and hopefully they don't leave a lot of burden behind, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I and as much as we've mentioned before, as much as people are opposed to getting policies for their children, when you consider the time value of money and the compounding effect of these policies, your child potentially on how much you're willing to contribute to a premium, your child could be a millionaire by the time they're 30, like, you know what I'm saying, depending on whatever. Like, I have a friend with 3 kids, and he does $50 a month for each of them, and by the time the youngest, she's 5, she'll have like upwards of 30 something $1,000 she can use for college. She can go and take herself on a graduation trip if she wants to. You know what I mean? But he's like, I'm not touching that money. That money's for my kids. I want them to understand how to use money appropriately and invest in the right things. And I will teach them. You can help me teach them. I will teach them It's conversations that we have. It's conversations that everybody needs to have with their children if we want to change the narrative of, you know, I wish my parents knew about different things when I was a child and these conversations were being had. But now that if I ever have a child, I will know how to educate them appropriately about these things and hopefully push them in the right direction to do smart stuff and just keep changing. You know, generational wealth is real. And it starts with us, you know, like all of us have seen it before. We came from nothing, but we learned something new. So now we get to pass on our information, which I absolutely love. I think the thing that I want to touch on, which I think that we had mentioned that we're going to do the differentiation between an improperly structured policy. Maybe next time we can each maybe do some illustrations or whatever it may be. But for anybody that's new to an IUL, is looking into an IUL, or just wants to know what they need to look for, I think Carlo calls it the 4 tenets that need to be addressed. And that is policy design and structure, costs and fees, performance, and understanding your loan options. Am I right on that?
Yep.
Cool. So I initially had some books that I wanted to give to, you know, post, but suitcases, you have to fit what you can fit, okay? So
you didn't bring a special suitcase just for all your books?
7 books. I brought 2. And none of them are about IUL. But if I remember the titles, I don't remember the authors. Maybe we can leave the titles and the authors in the comment section. But I think the first one was Look Before You Lerp. And then we had 25 ways an IUL can secure your financial future. The Retirement Miracle. And then we got into IUL ASAP, but I think her name is Shirley Liu. And then the last one is the Laser Fund, and that's Doug Andrews. But I'm sorry I don't have copies. but we'll leave them listed for. Yeah, there you go. Mark J. Quant. But
and then the other ones are by David McKnight.
Yeah, David McKnight, Doug Andrews, Shirley Liu, and a couple others.
The retirement. Yeah.
But we'll figure it out. We'll leave it in the comment section after we look them up. And for anybody that wants to, you know, just kind of get a general understanding, more information, I would recommend potentially reading them in that order, because the Laser Fund is packed full of so much information. It's overwhelming. You know what? Get your highlighter and read slow, because you're gonna be like, what the F did they just say? But it's really good. And I think the Laser Fund really like my understanding of IULs, you know, because it goes into max non-max premiums, distributions, tax codes. It literally covers everything in that book. But
real technical.
At the same time, it does get very technical, which is why you kind of maybe want to start out kind of slow, which is why I named the first ones that I did, just to get like a small understanding. And once you kind of feel comfortable, then that's going to be the last book that you want to read, because it literally dives into everything. Like everything. Like overwhelmingly everything. You're like, was that English? Should I have? I feel like I just read Japanese, like for real.
Yeah.
It happens. So that would be my recommendation. Do you guys have any questions? Any comments? Anything you want to share? I believe next time, we're gonna potentially try to get into more of the technicalities of an IUL, meaning, why you want to make sure your guideline level premium is close to your annual premium as possible, because that's how you know your policy is max funded. All of those technical terms that nobody really, I think a lot of people don't discuss. And it needs to be known and understood by clients as to what they really need to be paying attention to. I will make sure that I email y'all with all of those things, so that you don't feel overwhelmed or feel like research needs to be done. I have notebooks on notebooks of all of the trainings that we've done with Mr. Carlos Delgado. Thank God for him, because we love him. And he goes over everything so well. And without him, I would not be able to sit here and talk and talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
I think you might be able to talk and talk. Maybe it won't be about IULs, but
I do too, but at some point your girl gotta shut. I am gonna go and jump in the water again. I will
watch
make
the
some
beach
martini.
time.
And are we so time? It'll be the second Thursday of November. Yeah, and I don't know necessarily. Maybe we could get together, and I kind of want to do like a gratitude session and for a Thanksgiving deal, and we can just kind of share what we're grateful for, and just be in each other's presence and enjoy each other's company. But I think gratitude, based on the fact that it'll be Thanksgiving, would be a good thing. So that's just my idea, but
Gratitude is always good.
That sounds good. Yeah.
so I guess we're running.
Maybe you guys can share where people can find you online, maybe an Instagram or a website or whatever. Where can people find you?
I can be found. My name is Dani. I'm changing my last name because I got divorced. It's Sommer, but I go by Wood currently. And I am on TikTok and Instagram as Dolla, DOLLA _ sign SIGN _ Dani, DANI. Get it, girl.
Watch out. And Ruby, where can people find you, Ruby?
Instagram and TikTok. It's Rubit.Ramos 760 for TikTok, and then Rubit.Ramos for Instagram.
Nice.
What?
Awesome.
Wow. How do you roll your tongue like that? Jesus.
Ruby.
I need some maraca or something. And you Gordon.Chavez, where can we find you?
Oh man, I'll be chilling around the way. No, you can find me on TikTok, on
No, I'm just
Instagram.
kidding.
Yeah, TikTok and Instagram will be Gordon, GORDON.Chavez, CHAVEZ, and then Facebook is just Gordon.Chavez.
Perfecto. Yeah, I have a Facebook, but I really only use it to watch the recordings of our trainings. Other than that, I don't really go on Facebook, but maybe I should start. We'll see.
Yeah, TikTok
Yeah.
and Instagram is
I have a
is
Facebook
enough.
too.
Yeah, I can't get into the Facebook thing. I feel like that's for like my mom.
It's for people my age, right?
I wasn't gonna say that. I almost said that, but I chose my mom instead.
You bit
I
your
don't
tongue
want to
out.
anybody.
Oh boy.
You're young and handsome. You're
I
fine.
mean,
You get all the ladies. I mean,
oh
look,
my goodness.
beautiful wife. Come on.
Yeah, I lucked out with my wife, that's for sure. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so that's it. So IULs, we went over what the I stands for, indexing and performance. U being universal and the flexibility, and L, it's life insurance. And I hope you guys got a whole lot of education and value from this.
And we
And
will
then
continue to bring that fire. We're only getting started. So the heat is about to get way hotter in this B word.
this B word.
But we're elevating the education from here on out. So I hope y'all are
There you go.
very excited. I hope
All right.
that beneficial, educational. That's all we plan to do. And we hope to see you in our next episode.
You know, we wish you wealth.com.
Mhm.
I love you, friends. I'm gonna go get sunburned.
All righty. Here we go.
Fun.
Okay, have a good day, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate y'all.
Thanks for joining us from Hawaii, even though you're out
I
of
know.
town.
I
That's so
know.
awesome.
That's so exciting.
And hopefully
That's
you
cool.
come back.
I love it. I
Awesome.
love the background and everything.
Pictures from my beach sets this morning. Don't get jealous. And then I'll send you some of the valley I'm going to here in about a half hour.
All right, you guys. Well, we'll see you.